On this episode of the Nugget Project, it's very cold in this workshop and it's raining outside, which got me thinking, I don't think this car's waterproof. Maybe we should fix it. Good morning, gang. Well, we are back in the workshop and today we are going to have a crack at floor pans. So I showed you the bead roller I bought a few weeks back, and now it's finally time to use it. So I have the bead that I need to roll these floor pans. So let me show you what I need it for. So as you can see right here, this is probably the worst floor pan in the car. Funnily enough, the whole back section here is beautiful and the driver's side's really not that bad. Why is it rusted so bad here in the passenger side? I think it's because of the heater core. So when I had a look at the heater core, it had pinholes through it. I stuck a hose in and it was like a sieve. Water just came out everywhere. And I'm pretty sure the heater matrix is right here above the passenger footwell. So I'm guessing all that water leaked out of the heater core and it just sat in this footwell underneath the carpet and basically just rusted and rotted this footwell away. There's a little bit on the driver's side and it is right in that corner, kind of where the heater matrix would be. So I imagine a little bit's leaked that side too, and that's why that little bit there's damaged. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why this side is so cactus, because the back where it's away from the heater matrix is fine. The front is all rusted. We've also got some in the front, which I'll show you in a minute. But yeah, what I'm gonna have to do is strip all this back. So I'm gonna get my stripper disc, strip all this back and find out what's rust, what's car, same as we've done with the rest of this, and then figure out how to remake this floor pan. It's not going to be exactly how it was, but I'm going to try and make it as close as possible. But we'll make it strong, we'll put all the strengthening ribs in it. And we can also get away with stuff like this. So this hole here, you'll see them in the front as well. These holes are purely for when they build the chassis in the factory, they dip the entire chassis into their treatment solution or their paint. I think it's not really the paint, it's a treatment solution for the chassis, for the metal. Obviously not a very good treatment solution because the whole car's rusty. But these holes you see them in every car. If you pull your carpet up, there's one back here, two in there, two in the front, two in the boot. And that is purely just to let all that treatment fluid back out because they can't spin in the car. And obviously this is just like a big bucket area for that stuff to sit. So yeah, they're just for that to come out. And then what they do out the factory, they put these little plastic or rubber grommets in. So you'll see them, I've got one there, and that's purely just to plug up those holes. But obviously this car is not getting dipped anytime soon, so I don't need any of those. So I can basically get rid of those and that's one less hole in my car. So yes, it is a drain if the car gets flooded, but I'm sincerely hoping my car doesn't get flooded. And if it does, I have a wet and dry vacuum cleaner for that. All right, bit of handheld shaky cam here, but here is the frunk. And you can see in here, we have rust problems all through this section here. And then obviously where it joins up to this front section. This front section's actually pretty good. It's just the bit that joins up there. And a bit around the drain hole here. Obviously, as I said, you can see the two drain holes because this would be just a giant bucket for fluid to sit in. So it all drains out and then they put plugs in there. But I want to basically get rid of all that and I'm going to get rid of these holes because I don't need them. So this is unfortunately had a hit here. You can see somebody's probably tried to jack the car up and stuffed it up and it's bent this in. So I'm going to try and bang all this straight. And I'm figuring out where to cut. I kind of ideally, I think, would like to cut along this line up to here, and then that's the line of this sheet. And same there, and probably just replace a big square there. Now what I want to do is leave a bit of material and I want to actually overlap. So I'm going to make a plate with these ribs, match it, and have it sit just over the top. So it just overlaps, and then you've got the strength down of it sitting on top of the old metal, and then I can weld all the way around, fit that in, use a bit of seam seal underneath to stop any water or junk getting into that gap, and then hopefully that should work well. So once again, I'm gonna have to strip all this back. I'm gonna hammer that back first, strip this back and see how it goes. Let me just show you in the driver's side. So here we are in the driver's footwell, and as you can see, we've only got this little bit here. So it's kind of a bummer because this is the trans tunnel, but it's not the trans tunnel. It comes down here and it's just rusted just under here and here. So I've got to get under the car. Hopefully it's not rusted under this plate. If it has, I'm going to have to figure that out. But yeah, it's really just this one section here. So I'm just going to cut that bit out and we'll remake that. Really not too bad compared to, as I showed you the other side, which is just Swiss cheese, pretty gross. I'm all masked up and stuff because there is a lot of junk coming out of here. I've been grinding away for 10 odd minutes now. It doesn't look like much, but starting to make sense of it. So this is going to be a trickier repair than I thought, which is standard for this car. Most of this is pretty bad. Now there is a second skin under a lot of this. So, oh man, okay. So what I think I need to do, we've got this plate here, which is a strengthening plate for some bolts underneath. So I need to cut that off. So I've got to find where the spot welds are, whatever, cut that off so I can see what's bad underneath that. Second thing, you've got this whole trans tunnel here and this loops down here. This part of the trans tunnel, I'm just going to call it a trans tunnel, is rusted pretty bad. So I want to cut this off and I'm going to assess what's underneath there. Obviously it's all going to be bad. But then when I finish up replacing the floor, I think I'm going to cut a plate to kind of weld to this to strengthen that area, because obviously it wants that little loop down there to strengthen it, so we'll deal with that. Now as for the rest of the floor pan, you can see here spot welds. Oh, my screen's gone off on my, there we go. Spot welds here, and basically the floor pan joins along here the whole way. So my idea, I think, is you can see these little welds here. So some are spot welded, like that spot welded there, but then these are just seam welded. So we'll grind those welds off, and obviously I don't want to take the whole floor pan out because it's all fine back there. But bring it back to sort of here. This is still a little bit shitty here, but I don't want to go too far back. This is where the seat sits. So I'm going to try and just come back to here, leave enough to overlap, cut it up to I think here and along. And then that's kind of a shape I can manage to make. It's still going to be a complex shape. A lot of this doesn't need to be as wavy and stuff. Like obviously I'll still put the strengthening ribs in, but it doesn't need to be as wavy and have these dip and stuff. I think I can get away with not having a lot of that. But anyway, I want to try and get this floor pan out somewhat intact so I can copy it. It's going to be a mission, guys. Let's get stuck into it. Cool, we're getting there. So I've drilled out all the spot welds, and there's those tack welds there that are right pain in the neck, but I'm slowly getting there. All these tack welds are undone and I've hammered them free. I just getting rid of this bit here. Look how bad it is underneath. Holy cow. So yeah, I'll continue cutting that up there, get rid of that section. I might have to chop this back even further and just get rid of all that rust under there. I might have to weld up in the trans tunnel to, I don't know, it's going to be hard, but if it was easy, everybody would do it. Anyway, we'll keep on going. I'm not going to film a lot of this, we'll just do a time lapse because I've got to get this done. Well, this has got very exciting. So it's just about ready to come out. It's going to need a little persuasion. There's a couple of bits hanging on. There's a bit hanging on under there. We'll give it a bit of a lever and see if we can get it out. Oh, that's not good. Crackle, pop, bang, pull the battery out. That is toast. Great. Now I've got to buy work a new one of these. And I still don't have one. Awesome. There we go. Damn. So, footwell's out. It's a big ass hole. There's a big rusty panel. Now it gets interesting. Look at this mess. It's just rust and junk falling out of this car. Anyway, we're giving this a bit of a clean up, so it's a bit of rust here. It's not too bad. I'll just have to treat it, and then, yep, this bit's not too bad, so I can tack back to that. So yeah, I basically got to cut out a panel now, and then I'll have to obviously put the beads in to match these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beads here. That's going to be the tricky part. And then this I'll just bend up around here. I'm going to have a look up in here, but it actually looks, I had a look in the tunnel, it doesn't look too bad, amazingly. So, let's keep going. Okay, so I've marked out where I'm going to put my beads. Pretty much going off the factory spots, but extending them out and changing them a little bit, as we're not doing a few of the dips and dives, and also we don't need the drain holes. And now we have this guy. So this is our 1-inch bead, which should match the bead on the MR2. So we'll swap these over and just give it a go, I guess. Haven't really done this before, but best way to learn is to do it. Okay, so I've got the dies in this way because I've marked the top of the sheet and I want the bulge to go up. So therefore the dies have to go that way if I want to see my marks. And I reckon we just give it a red hot crack. What's the worst that could happen? There we go, got a bit of coating coming off the die there. But that looks somewhat like we want it to. Bit of fun though. Definitely easier if you had a bit of help. And a lot of people have told me that. If you don't have a motorised one, it helps to have another set of hands. But I am home alone and don't have another set of hands, so here we are.
Been at it already, had my tarot read. Things are looking up for me, that's what my tarot said. Been pumping out pheromones and wearing red. Young Jerry Lolliver King, but they're not aware of it. $40 to show money, that's what they stole from me. Blow it all bowling, guess I roll funny. Go find me a snow bunny, ask if this cold world's making her nose runny. She melted, I wear a cape that is velvet. Couldn't see it, she felt it. See it all like I'm Elvis, move my hips like I'm Elvis. I don't pitch it, I sell it. Couldn't picture me jealous, turning fans into zealots. Tuning in when I tell it. There were 15 people at the...
Well, there we go. I have the makings of a floor pan. It's pretty wonky. I obviously have a lot to learn about doing all this, but look, I've got to bend all the edges up anyway to make the pan fit in, so I'll hammer it a bit straighter and then try and cut it up and weld it in. It's alright though, it's got beads in it. It'll make it much, much stronger. I think it's kind of bend it that way, but with those beads in it, it makes it so much stronger. It's awesome. Looking forward to doing more stuff like this on, like, you know, battery trays and firewalls and stuff in the future. Anyway, it's gonna make this sucker fit.
That's why they love to jack the style like it's on a Civic. I will never pull the strings like an oligarch. I do my dance at the club with the lonely hearts, watching all these little men try and be Bonapartes to make the rest of us deal with their broken parts. Despite evil.
Okay, so the time lapse died, but I'll show you kind of where I'm at. Yeah, pretty wonky. I'm doing what I've done with some of the other panels is I get as close as I can off the car and then pretty much start tacking. So tacked along here and I'm putting it into shape as I'm going and then going along here. Don't worry about these welds, they're a bit shit, but yeah, just welding, hammering. Unfortunately, like these 3 beads lined up with the old ones perfectly. These 2 did not, which sucks, but I wasn't going to go making a whole new thing just for that. So look, it's all under, I'm putting sound deadening and carpet over this. The whole bottom's going to be coated. You never see this unless you're watching this video, then sorry. But anyway, it's a bit hard. Like there's a bit of surface rust here that I couldn't get off, and it's tricky to weld to rust. But anyway, look, God, I can't wait to weld proper steel and not thin sheet metal. But as I'm going, it's shaping really well and it's looking good underneath too. It's kind of sitting how I want. I keep setting fire to the old insulation. That's a bitch to get off, so I've just kind of left it, and now and again we get a bit of fire, but you know, bit of fun. Look, I'm just going to skip ahead on this one because I don't have time. It's very hard to film and do this, and you can only watch so much time lapse. So let's skip ahead, and this is probably going to be close to done. Okay, so it's a few hours later, and I have a helper. Hi. So she's home from daycare, so therefore I have to go in the house, but that's okay because look at this. I'm gonna just stand for a second. Thanks, dude. All right. It is going actually really well. So I'm obviously not fully welded, but stitched, and I'm forming it as I go. I still need to form this. You can see I've been whacking at it with the hammer, but I don't really care because it's all going to be covered up. But I just need to form this a little bit more, cut that section off, weld that, and seriously, it's in. And I reckon, how good is that for my first attempt at a footwell? I think that's really cool. I'm pretty bloody stoked. So I need to go underneath, clean up a little bit underneath, and I need to make a strengthening rib that goes along here and will join up to the section at the back of the car. So I'll fold one of them up, but that won't be today, will it, Lexi? No. Because we need to go in and have dinner. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll shut the garages up, and yeah, I'll finish this off in this video because I want you guys to see it kind of done. So check back maybe tomorrow, who knows, might be next Friday. Alrighty, it's the next morning. My beautiful wife has given me the day off from the kids. She's looking after them, so let's get this floor finished. Okay, so let's have a look where we left off yesterday, and I'll kind of explain a few things because obviously I glossed over a bit not filming, and I'm sorry about that, but if you ever try to film and do this work, you'll understand. So I did end up having to cut. I was gonna overlay that panel over there, but it just wasn't fitting, so ended up cutting that back. Yeah, so basically what I did is to make this fit, this side was all just tack, 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 and then this was hammering with a big nylon hammer. Obviously on a panel that's external and people would see, it's no good, but for this it works fine, curved around nicely, and then trying to get all this to fit well is tricky. It's still not amazing, but it's, look, for what it is, it's fine. I've got a bit of a rise in the middle here, so I'm gonna have to bang that down a bit. I'm gonna use a bit of wood in between the ribs, in between the beads, sorry, and smack that down flat. So today what I need to do is finish doing the tacks. So I'm going to do more tacks along here, and then I can weld this section in, cut that to size, weld that plate in, and then it's a matter of going through and actually properly burning in all the back. And I want to do a few stitches along the top here, just make it really strong. And now I've got to get underneath the car and weld some more. And the other thing is there's that strengthening rib underneath. Let me get the old piece and I'll show you what I'm talking about with that. So here's our old piece of floor pan, and underneath, you can see that. So that continues down the chassis. So I'm gonna bend up another one. It's a fairly basic piece. Bend up another one that fits over the top of the section left in the car. So it'll continue down the end of the car and then all the way along here. Yeah, it shouldn't be too hard. It's basically just a straight piece of steel. This one's a bit fancier because they've kind of bent it in. I think they've just kind of hammered those bits into the rib, so I could probably do that too. Anyway, let's get this burnt in and then we'll worry about this piece. Also, for anyone doing metal work, I strongly recommend one of these face shields. Like, it's so easy to flip up and down, and you don't get the fog like you do with goggles. They're only cheap, but they're just so much easier. And you can wear goggles underneath too if you want to get super safety. But yeah, I find this just so much easier, and it shields your whole face too, not just your eyes. So, gotta keep the money maker safe. Alright, I'm just gonna chop that section there. I was going to chop that top bit off, and now I can burn all this in. I've got a little gap there, so I'm going to have to, I don't know, see what I can do with that. Also, another little hint, be careful of your windscreens, and if you've got windows on the car, if you spark on those windscreens too much, you will wreck the windscreen. Like, it actually burns the metal flakes into the windscreen, and that's the end of it. So when I was cutting then, I actually had something above it just to stop the sparks. Just got to be really careful. Anyway, let's get this finished. Okay, you get the idea. I think we'll time lapse the last bit as I burn the rest of this in. The insulation keeps catching fire. I should have really cleaned it all off the bottom, but here we are. Alright, let's time lapse the rest of this, get it done, and I'll show you the finished product. Okay, so it's been a couple of hours and we're done. So that's all seam welded all the way around. Even did a few nice little seam welds. Can't run it too hot because obviously it's just thin sheet metal, but yeah, not unhappy with those. And these are the bits where I kind of had to cut the steel and fold it, and they're all good now. And I did a few extra spot welds here just because that panel overlaps, so I want that panel to be secure and not flop around. And same, I welded those from the inside of the trans tunnel from underneath, and we welded our bracket back in there too. So now I just need to do a little bit of rust treatment just on the last bits here where it's still a bit funky and on that bracket, and then the rest of it's just going to get coated in a black undercoat. So that's good. Now it's time to have a crack at making that support spine thing underneath. It's a bit tricky because it actually dips with the chassis, same as the driver's side. And when you fold steel, it does not like to bend, so it'll be interesting. Anyway, we'll mark it up and give it a go. I've kind of got something bent up. I ended up having to do it with pliers. Bender wasn't working very well. It is a cheap eBay bender. It's not the prettiest thing, but hopefully it should work. It's all going to be covered over in sand bender anyway. So one end does taper off and get like, it ramps down. So I think I'm going to have to cut and fold that, and I can weld that. The problem I have now is welding upside down is very, very tricky. And I'm not a good enough welder to kind of do that. So what I think I might do is set this up under the car, drill some holes through my new floor pan, and basically spot weld along onto this from the top, because that's much, much easier than trying to weld upside down and it will just blob back into the gun. The hard part is lining everything up so I know exactly where it's going to go. But I think I've got a plan for that. Let's give this a go. It's pretty much there, that's perfect. So now, I know vaguely I could drill my holes. Now I need to keep this sucker in place, so I'm going to use a jack and jack it up to the floor and hold it in place. It's got to go over the top of that and then along. Let's see how we go. Okay gang, come and see what I have created. So here we go. It curves up just like the passenger side one. See, it's got that little dip thing there. So it curves up there and then follows along pretty nicely. The only thing I didn't copy from this one is you can see how it kind of really dips up into the beads, but I just couldn't, I can't do it. So it's fine. It feels super duper strong. Like you bang on the floor now and jump up and down and it feels so strong. It's fantastic. Yeah, like a little bit ugly here where I had my little taper. I've drilled a drain hole here, just same as the other side. Basically tacked on the bottom of each bead. Welding here was really hard because I've overlapped the old one. You see the old one goes all the way to the back of the car. So I overlapped it by that far. And then welding upside down is bloody hard. So it's just like a hot tack, hot tack, hot tack. And that's about all you can do. I mean, it's probably not the strongest weld in the world, but everything else is holding this in fine. So yeah, it's actually pretty good. I'm not unhappy with this at all. I'm just gonna give this a rub down, get that little bit of surface rust off, and then I'll, yeah, do an undercoat. All this, so all the overlap I did, all this is gonna get seam sealer, just like it would in the factory. You can see the seam sealer all through here and all here. It's just what they do on overlaps. So yeah, we'll do seam sealer all the way around. And that'll keep it nice and happy. Yeah. And the good thing is with the strength of that, as we have learnt from Fast and Furious, it's very easy when you have a danger to manifold for your floor to fall out. So now with our new floor, we won't have those problems. Awesome. Okay, so we're done. I painted the underneath with the black zinc primer, and I think it looks pretty good. Obviously, you know, you've got the bead weld around the outside. It's never going to look like factory. I don't have, to make this look like factory, I literally need the entire floor pan, which would mean taking out the entire trans tunnel cover, or like, it's a lot of work, and I can't even get the parts anyway. Like, I can't get a floor pan in Australia. They only sold these for 2 years in Australia. Apparently there's only like 900 sold. So it's really hard to get parts for these cars. I'm not kidding. In England and America, it's ridiculous. They're wrecking like 20 of them a day in America. Like you see the posts come up all the time. It's so easy to get parts. Over here, it is not easy. So we're gonna fabricate stuff. And we have gone from this disgusting mess to this beautiful looking floor that is super strong. I'm not gonna whack on it now because I just painted it, but yeah, with those beads rolled into it and then with that strengthening plate underneath, it is solid as a rock. It is so good. And once I've got the sound deadening in here and then the carpet on top of that, and then underneath I'm doing like a rubberized coating similar to what they do from the factory. It's been recommended to me. You won't even see any of that. Like it'll just look pretty much factory. So very stoked, very happy with this. For something like this is the first time I've done something like this, and I'm wrapped with how it's turned out. And it wasn't that bad. Making that fit was pretty tough, but the weld was fantastic. Yeah, it's been a good couple of days, and it has been a couple of days. I started this about 9 AM on Friday. Worked through the whole day, finished up when my daughter came home about 5. And then, yeah, I started again this morning at about 9 o'clock, and it's 4 o'clock now, and I'm just finished up and cleaned up and packed up the workshop. So it's 2 full days. These things take time when you're at my experience level. So, but I'm feeling very satisfied. Like, that is a satisfying job. I can walk away from this car, leave it in the garage, turn the lights off, and be very happy with what I've achieved the last couple of days. So thank you so much to everyone who's watching this. I think this may be the last rust repair video I'm doing. I wanted to show you this one because it involved the bead roller, and it's a big repair, and it's a fairly substantial one and a very big step to getting this car done. But I don't think you need to watch all the rust repairs. We've done, what, 3 videos on it now? It's a lot. I think you're probably gonna get over it. So I'm gonna smash this out in the background as quick as I can. Thanks for watching, guys. Keep checking back, and yeah, let's get this car on the road. I'm getting pumped now. It was a good day, I'm motivated. Cheers. Oh yeah, just a quick one, just out of interest. So there's the floor pan I just cut out. I've been keeping all the rust I've been cutting out. So there's another piece, and another piece. And that entire box of little pieces I have cut out and made panels for. So yeah, if you sort of think, oh, he hasn't done much, all these little bits I've cut out and welded in new patches. So a lot has been happening.